I welcome you to our day one of our certificate program organized by West End University College. Mr. Adimai happens to be the lecturer for today's meeting. So without much ado, I will invite him to take over. Mr. Adimai, please, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Please, I can hear you. Can you share the document? Since
Yes.
you are there, I wanted to share, but it's not going to.
The document is already on the platform. I have displayed on the screen, so you can take over from.
For the purpose of online learning, we have to display it on the screen. We have to share the screen so that they will be able to follow well from the screen here.
The screen is already shared. Can you see it?
Yeah, it's a shared, but the document is not showing. We can only see the screen of your laptop, but
Okay,
the document is not shared.
Stop and share it again.
All right.
Can you see it now? Can you see it now? All right, the document is shared now. So, Mr. Adimai, you can take over.
All right, sir. Please, let's find out if our participants are also ready and they can hear us so that we can move.
Participants, please unmute your microphone and let's hear from you. At Mirabel, can you hear us? Okay. Benny, can you hear us? Benny. Benny.
Hey, don't talk.
Okay. Mausi, can you hear us? All right. What about Prince Kwache? Can you hear us?
Yes. Don't talk.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, for your side is you have a nice link. Okay.
Mr. Mosi can hear you.
Okay, you can hear us. Mausi can hear us. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Recording in progress.
All right. Regina, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can.
All right, Mr. Adimai, you can take over. All right, Mr. Adimai, you can take over. All students are set, so you can take over.
All right. Good evening to you all.
Good evening.
I hope you can see me.
Yes, please.
Hey.
I can see you.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So good evening once again. And we welcome you all to today's session. the first ever session of our program. And as I said earlier, we are going to look at the first model, which has to do with becoming a 21st century teacher. And I want each and every one of us to participate because it's a very important area which has to do with functional education and functional learning. So you all have the document. You all have the document. All right, so how to become a 21st century teacher? And a pre-21st century education emphasizes commitment over creativity. Hello, I hope you can hear me. Can I go on? Can I go on? Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, so we are going to look at how to become a 21st century teacher. And in turn, how you can also transform your learners into becoming 21st century learners. So we are going to look at you yourself become a 21st century teacher and how you in turn can help transform your learners into becoming 21st century learners. Now we are in the 21st century, and as a result of that, it is pertinent and appropriate that teachers of today become 21st century teachers. And 21st century teachers are teachers who can fit into any society across the globe. So if you are in Ghana, there are so many things you need to learn. There are so many things you need to understand so that tomorrow if you felt, you'll be able to fit well into the educational society of those countries. So that is what we are going to basically teach. And all over the world, that is what is trending, being a 21st century teacher. But one thing we have to take note of is that before 21st century, before the 21st century, we are in the 21st century. And before the 21st century, education emphasized compliance and conformity. So what it means is that in the 20th century, in the 19th century, in the 18th century, education was based on compliance and conformity over creativity, skills that were necessary to do well in a professional or corporate environment. For the 21st century. So let's say in the 19th century, education was based on compliance and conformity, meaning that it was, yes, a master form of education. Comply, obey before you complain for education. When the teacher speaks, when the teacher teaches, nobody can alter it. Nobody can question. That is what we mean. So before the 21st century, education was all about compliance and conformity. Learners were supposed to conform. Learners were supposed to comply. And that was that. Nothing more, nothing else. So they were supposed to comply. So teacher says, 1 + 1 is 2. That was it. No learner will be able to challenge the teacher that 1 + 1 is 2. The teacher will say if the teacher says 1 + 1 is 3, that is it. Nobody can challenge it. But if you have realized today, that is no more. Today, if you look at the learners we are meeting day in, day out, these days, very curious. They always want to know more, and they would want to challenge. They would want to correct even the teacher. So we have to understand that in the 21st century, the practice of obey before you complain form of education, comply, conform, is no more. So if you are in conformity, it means you are not first century teacher. That is what we mean. So compliance and conformity were practices of the past. Those days, those were the practices teachers were engaged in. But today, you cannot use the same practices. Today, you cannot let your student comply or conform. I hope you understand what I mean. I want you to understand this side first before we can make headway. I hope you all understand. You quickly unmute yourself, then you respond. Then after that, yourself. I hope you understand.
Yes, I do.
Hello. I hope you understand the first paragraph.
Yes,
I want to be sure you cannot hear me so that I can. All right. Now, 21st century education is about giving students the skills they need to succeed in. I hope you understand. 21st century education is all about giving students the skills they need to succeed in this new world. We are in a global world. We are in a global village. And therefore, what we are saying is that in today's education, what the students want from the teacher is skills. So can you, hello? Yes, it's okay now. 21st century education is all about giving students the skills they need to succeed. So if you are giving your learners skills that will not help them to succeed in this world, then it means you are not trained to practice those skills. So we have students who are timid. They are able to learn. They are able to acquire knowledge. But after acquiring the knowledge, they are not able to, they are not confident enough to practice those skills they have acquired from school. So you, the teachers, should make sure that your learners have that confidence that will help them to be able to practice the skills they have acquired in school. Now, with so much information readily available today, and to them, 21st century skills focus more on making sense of that information, sharing and using it in smart ways. So today, we give information to students by way of teaching them. And at the end of the day, the learners should be able to make sense of the information you, the teacher, have given to them. Making sense out of it, they should also be able to share the information in smart ways. What do we mean by sharing the information? They should be capable of teaching others. That is what we mean. They should be capable. We have learners who can learn, and after learning, they cannot teach others. So if you want to become a 21st century teacher, then it means that you should make sure that your learners are able to understand what you teach them. And after understanding what you teach them, they should be able to also share what you have taught them. With that, we can say you are a 21st century teacher. A 21st century teacher is the one who has been able to help his or her students to make sense and understand whatever he has taught them or she has taught them. And by so doing, the learners will also be able to teach others. That's the meaning of sharing and using it in smart ways. Up to this juncture, if you have any question, you can ask before we carry on. any question, you can ask before we carry on. If there is no question, Mr. Akon, can you? Okay. So we have a picture here, and the picture is John Dewey, and he had a very wonderful teaching. If we teach students as we taught yesterday's, what John Dewey is trying to mean is that, you know, the methods we use to apply, that is all that John Dewey is trying to talk about. But if we use those methods, then we should be mindful and know that we are robbing today's generation of what they can do tomorrow. That is what John Dewey is trying to mean. What he is trying to mean is that as teachers, if we continue to use old methods of teaching, old practices, old teaching and learning practices, then it means that we should understand that we are robbing our learners of tomorrow, meaning that we are robbing our learners of becoming, becoming prominent people in the future. I hope you all understand. I hope you all understand.
Yes,
okay, let's carry on. So that is what John Dewey said. It's a profound quotation, which you all have to put at the back of your minds. So we can carry on. All right. Now let's look at the learning objectives of this whole model. We will be able to define 21st century skills. This whole model. We should also be able to explain why students need 21st century skills. And also, we should also be able to in instructional activities. So these are the three main objectives that we should all be able to achieve by the end of this module. So first and foremost, according to the learning objectives, we are supposed to define 21st century skills. So we are now going to define 21st century skills. So let's ask ourselves, what are 21st century skills? Because the whole model is about 21st century skills, becoming 21st century teachers. But before you can become a 21st century teacher, there are skills you need to acquire in order for you to become a 21st century teacher. So what are those skills? Now, the assessment and teaching of 21st century skills consortium organizes 21st century skills into 4 categories. We had network problem. All right, so let's carry on. So we are looking at 21st century skills, and a consortium, a certain consortium puts one of working. 3, tools for working. 4, living in the world. So let's take them one by one. Now we are talking about 21st century skills, and we are asking ourselves, what are those skills? We are going to look at those skills. The first category is what we call ways of thinking. Now, 21st century teachers are creative and innovative. And the ways of thinking. We are looking at creativity and innovation. Learning to learn. That is what we call metacognition. Please, can you hear me?
Yes.
Fine.
Yes. All right. So, ways of thinking. Every 21st century teacher should be creative, innovative, to be a critical thinker. Problems. Should be somebody who can make decisions, take decisions on his or her own, and somebody who can learn and be able to learn. I hope you understand. The same way, if you want to help your learners to become 21st century learners, then you should help them to be creative. You should help them to be innovative. You should help your learners to become critical thinkers. You should help your learners to be able to solve problems. You should help your learners to be able to take decisions on their own. And you should help your learners to be able to learn and be able to teach others. That is what we call metacognition. So we are saying that this model looks at two things. One, you, the teacher, should become a 21st century teacher. And how you, the teacher, can also help the learners to become 21st century learners. That is why I look at the teacher, then I come and look at the learner. So if you look at the first category of 21st century skills, which has to do with ways of thinking, I'm saying that if you want to become a 21st century teacher, you should be creative. If you want to become a 21st century teacher, you should be innovative. If you want to become a 21st century teacher, you should be a critical thinker. If you want to become a 21st century teacher, you should be somebody who can solve problems. If you want to become a 21st century teacher, you should be able to make decisions. If you want to become a 21st century teacher, you should be able to learn and be able to teach others. The same way, if your learners are 21st century learners, then you should see all these characteristics in them. That is what we are talking about. So just try and assess the learners you have in your classroom right now. Do they possess these characteristics? If they don't possess these characteristics, then it means that your learners are not 21st century learners. And you should also ask yourself, am I creative? Am I innovative? Am I a critical thinker? Can I think critically? Can I solve problems? Can I make decisions on my own? Can I learn and be able to teach others? Please, let's assess ourselves. If you, as a teacher, possess these characteristics, then it means in one way, you are on the road to becoming a 21st century teacher. If your learners also possess these characteristics, then it means your learners are also on their way to becoming 21st century learners. I hope that is clear. I hope that is clear. Is it clear?
Very clear, sir.
All right, let's go to the second category. Ways of working. Now, you should ask yourself as teachers, Are you good at communication? What we mean by communication is, in schools, you are a teacher, you should be a team player. Somebody who can communicate well. We have teachers who have very poor communication skills. Teachers who lack good communication skills. You don't know how to talk. Parents come to the school when they have problems. You don't know how best you can go about that, how best you can communicate with them, how best you can communicate with your peers at work.